How's it going, everybody? And thank you for joining me on Out of the Boat Throws. So I was planning on doing the video from inside the tent, but unfortunately I haven't gotten any lighting in there yet. So we're going to go ahead and just do it outside, and I'll just leave it in the background. So last week we went through the story of Cain and Abel from chapter 4 of Genesis, and so now we're going to go into chapter 5. This is the written account of Adam's life. When God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female and blessed them. And when they were created, he called them man. When Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness, in his own image, and he named him Seth. After Seth was born, Adam lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Adam lived 930 years, and then he died. When Seth had lived 105 years, he became the father of Enoch. And after he became the father of Enoch, Seth lived 807 years, and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Seth lived 912 years, and then he died. When Enoch had lived 90 years, he became the father of Kenan. And after he became the father of Kenan, Enoch lived 815 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived 905 years, and then he died. When Kenan had lived 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. And after he became the father of Mahalalel, Kenan lived 840 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Kenan lived 910 years, and then he died. When Mahalalel had lived 65 years, he became the father of Jared. And after he became the father of Jared, Mahalalel lived 830 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Mahalalel lived 895 years, and then he died. When Jared had lived 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. And after he became the father of Enoch, Jared lived 800 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Jared lived 962 years, and then he died. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. And after he became the father of Methuselah, Enoch walked with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived 365 years. Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. And after he became the father of Lamech, Methuselah lived 782 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Methuselah lived 969 years, and then he died. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son. He named him Noah, and said, "He will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands, caused by the ground the Lord had cursed." After Noah was born, Lamech lived 595 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Lamech lived 777 years, and then he died. After Noah was 500 years old, he became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So that's chapter 5 of Genesis right there. And as we can see the line and the lineage of where it goes from Adam, Seth, all the way down to Noah. And there's some interesting things here. First of all, we can see that a lot of these men lived pretty much 800 to 900 years before they died, which is way beyond the normal lifespan that we live today. We can also see that there's an interesting character here that it doesn't say he died. It says that the Lord took him away, is Enoch. Enoch walked with God, and then he was no more because God took him away. Now that's very interesting because we don't really understand that. It doesn't say how God took him away or what happened with the situation. All we know is that it says for everybody else that they had died, but Enoch was taken away by God. So that's very interesting. And it also specifies that he walked with God. It doesn't say that about really any of the other characters, just Enoch. And then when we get to Lamech, the father of Noah, we can see very interesting here that he lived 777 years. And he named him Noah because he will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands, caused by the ground the Lord had cursed. So we can see that the ground was cursed in the earlier chapters of Genesis, and Lamech is actually remembering this curse of the ground and believes that Noah is the one that's going to comfort the situation. And he also lived 777 years, and a lot of us have come to the understanding that number 7 is actually a number of completion. So through that we can see that Noah was the completion of something. And we know the story of Noah is going to be later on here, but we do know that he was spoken to by God and began to build the ark for the coming flood. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys. If you guys do have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in the comments section. And if you guys want to see future videos, go ahead and subscribe. Next week, we're going to get into the deluge or the flood account and see actually what happens with that situation, why it came about, and what God had promised afterwards. So I thank you guys for joining me, and I'll be seeing you guys next week. Thank you, and have a good one.